We are drawn to stories of heroes. We love to hear about the visionary who saw the future. We celebrate the leader who never seemed to doubt their own path. These stories offer comfort in a chaotic world. They whisper a reassuring promise. With enough skill, enough intelligence, enough confidence, we can master our destiny. This belief makes us feel safe. Success is not a lottery, it's a prize earned through merit. But that feeling can be a dangerous illusion. It blinds us to the silent role of luck. Think of a scale, feather versus an iron weight. Consider a star trader, years of brilliant moves. Profits pile up. The media calls them a genius. Their book becomes a bestseller. Students and aspiring investors hang on every word. We build a story of inevitable triumph. Then the market turns. One unexpected event wipes out years of gains. The genius is revealed mortal. The story becomes tragedy. This pattern is common. It shows a deep bias in how we view success. This video explores the high cost of overconfidence, why we mistake luck for skill, the mental traps that make us overconfident. Two examples will guide us: Nassim Taleb, former trader, champion of randomness; Irving Fisher, economist, supremely confident before 1929. Their contrast teaches a profound lesson. The core idea: the world is far more random than our tidy stories. We retrofit explanations after events to make them seem inevitable. Taleb calls this the narrative fallacy. Fisher's 1929 experience is a painful testament. Learn from both humility and wisdom. Well, the world is, often messier than our stories suggest. When we look for the secrets to success, we almost always study the winners, biographies of billionaires, strategies of champion athletes, decisions of victorious generals. This seems logical. If you want to succeed, learn from those who have succeeded. But this approach has a deep and fundamental flaw. It ignores the vast silent graveyard of those who tried the exact same things and failed. This is survivorship bias. We only see the survivors. We do not see the countless others who started with the same dreams, the same strategies, the same confidence, but were wiped out by a turn of bad luck. Imagine 1,000 people start a new business. They all follow the same popular advice from a best-selling business book. After 10 years, only one becomes a massive success. The media rushes to interview that founder, morning routine, leadership, philosophy, unshakable belief in their vision. The founder's story becomes a blueprint for success. But what about the other 999 people? Their stories are not told. Their failures are silent, yet they may have been just as smart, just as hardworking, just as confident. The only difference may have been a random event, a key employee quitting a competitor, getting a lucky break. This illusion of skill is reinforced by our love for stories. A random outcome feels unsatisfying, it feels meaningless. So we invent a narrative to explain it. Grit vision, we create a cause and effect chain that makes success seem destined. Nassim Taleb calls this the narrative fallacy. It is our tendency to impose a coherent story on a set of past facts. This makes us feel like we understand the world, but it is a dangerous oversimplification. It fools us into thinking that the world is more predictable and less random than it truly is. We see a winning lottery ticket and invent a story about the winner's lucky numbers, ignoring the millions of losing tickets. This leads to the problem of induction. We use past observations to make general rules about the future. For 1,000 days, the sun has risen in the east. Therefore, we feel certain it will rise in the east tomorrow. In many parts of life, this works well enough. It is a useful mental shortcut. But it can fail spectacularly when we are dealing with complex systems like financial markets or our own careers. Just because a certain strategy has worked for the past 5 years does not guarantee it will work for the next 5. The very conditions that led to past success might be planting the seeds for a future failure. To understand the problem of induction more clearly, Nassim Taleb tells a simple, memorable story. Imagine a turkey. From the day it is born, it is cared for by a friendly human. Every single morning, the human comes to the coop and provides a delicious meal. Day after day, week after week, the turkey gathers more and more evidence. Its confidence grows. It concludes, based on a mountain of consistent data, that the human is its benevolent friend. Each feeding reinforces this belief. The turkey might even create a sophisticated chart showing a steady upward trend. It feels completely secure in its prediction for the future. The turkey's confidence reaches its absolute peak on the day before Thanksgiving. It has accumulated 1,003 days of positive evidence and not a single piece of evidence to the contrary. From the turkey's perspective, the next day should be the best yet. But then, on Thanksgiving Day, something completely unexpected happens. The human does not arrive with food. Instead, the human arrives with an axe. The turkey learns in its final moments that its understanding was catastrophically wrong. 1,000 days of history did not prepare it for the one day that truly mattered. This story is a powerful metaphor for hidden risks. The turkey's mistake was not that it was illogical, it was using the data it had. Its mistake was assuming that the past was a reliable guide to the future, and that the absence of a negative event meant that a negative event was impossible. The danger was building up silently, invisible to the turkey. The very process that made the turkey feel safe, the daily feedings, was the same process leading to its doom. This is what Taleb calls a black swan event, a rare high-impact event outside regular expectations that we later try to explain as predictable. This is not just a clever fable. It exposes a fundamental flaw in how we assess risk. We tend to focus on small fluctuations, frequent fluctuations, familiar fluctuations. We measure market volatility by daily wiggles. We judge job safety because we haven't been laid off. A market crash, a technological disruption, a global pandemic. The turkey's problem is our problem. We are often too focused on the reassuring calm of the past to see the storm gathering just over the horizon. Well, that's the thing. In the 1920s, though, there was no economist more respected than Irving Fisher. He was a brilliant professor at Yale University. He was a pioneering statistician. He was a public intellectual whose opinions carried immense weight. The decade was a time of incredible optimism in America. The economy was booming. New technologies were changing society, the automobile, the radio. The stock market was soaring to heights never seen before. For many, it felt like a new era of permanent prosperity had dawned. Irving Fisher was one of the most prominent and confident voices proclaiming this new reality. He was the opposite of Taleb's cautious thinker. He was a true believer in the stability of the system. Just weeks before the crash of 1929, Fisher made a now infamous declaration. He stated, "Stock prices have reached what looks like a permanently high plateau." This was a statement of profound confidence from the nation's leading economic expert. He believed the economic fundamentals had truly changed. He argued that efficiencies from mass production justified high stock valuations. He argued that new technologies justified high stock valuations. He saw the rising market not as a speculative bubble, but as a rational reflection of a stronger, more stable economy. He put his own money where his mouth was, borrowing heavily to invest more in the market. Fisher's confidence was the same logic as the turkey. He looked at the recent past and projected it indefinitely into the future. The market had been strong for years. The economy was growing. Corporate profits were solid. From his perspective, all the data pointed in one direction: up. He failed to see the hidden risks building up beneath the surface. Massive expansion of debt. Speculative fever gripping average investors, fragility of the banking system. Like the turkey being fattened for Thanksgiving, the system was being primed for catastrophic failure. The signs were invisible to those who believed the good times would last. The story of Irving Fisher is a tragic human story of overconfidence. He was not a fool, he was a genius. But his genius did not make him immune to the psychological traps that affect us all. He saw a pattern and believed it would last forever. He built a compelling narrative to explain the prosperity, a narrative that made him feel certain about the future. But the future did not care about his narrative. On October 29th, 1929, Black Tuesday, the market collapsed. The permanently high plateau crumbled into a deep and terrifying canyon. Fisher's certainty cost him his entire fortune and tarnished his reputation for the rest of his life. The crash of 1929 was not just a financial loss, it was a profound intellectual shock. He had been so sure, so publicly confident, and so spectacularly wrong. Having lost the equivalent of millions in today's money, much of it borrowed, he was left in financial ruin. But he did not simply retreat in shame. He dedicated the rest of his career to understanding what had happened. He wanted to know why the crash turned into the Great Depression. His failure became the catalyst for one of his most enduring ideas. Fisher realized the initial shock was made far worse by one factor: debt. In the boom years of the 20s, big corporations and ordinary people had borrowed heavily to speculate. When the market fell, those debts remained. People were forced to sell stocks to pay loans. That rush of selling pushed prices down more. A vicious cycle formed. Prices fell, people sold, more prices fell further. It was a stampede for the exits. Fisher developed the theory of debt deflation. A panic selling assets to pay debts causes prices to fall, deflation. As prices fall, the real value of the remaining debt rises. Imagine you owe $1,000 and your assets are worth $2,000. If a crash courts assets to $1,000, you're in trouble. If deflation halves your income, that $1,000 debt becomes twice as hard to pay. Debt forces more selling, causing more deflation and heavier debt. The economy gets trapped in a downward spiral. Fisher's lesson was hard won. An economy with a high level of debt is inherently fragile. It's like a building of flammable materials. Looks stable, but a small spark can set it ablaze. His overconfidence came from looking only at surface prosperity. His insight came from seeing hidden fragility in massive leverage. A system can seem safe for years while quietly accumulating the risks that lead to collapse. Nassim Taleb would look at Irving Fisher's story and see a perfect example of the asymmetry of risk. This is the idea that the potential for loss and the potential for gain are often not balanced. Some strategies offer small, steady gains over time, but hide the risk of single, catastrophic loss that can wipe out everything. This is the exact pattern the turkey experienced. 1,003 days of small gains, a daily meal, then 1 day of an infinitely negative outcome. That final loss was not another data point, it was terminal. Many financial strategies and many life strategies, a trader might sell options, collecting small steady premiums. Month after month they profit and their models say it's safe, but they're exposed to a rare black swan. When it comes, a sudden market crash or a surprise political development, one day's loss can dwarf years of gains. They're picking up pennies in front of a steamroller. Our minds are fooled. We judge risk by frequency, not magnitude. If something bad hasn't happened recently, we assume it won't. We drive without a seatbelt. We build homes on a floodplain. We take on too much debt. We enjoy convenience, a nice view, cheap credit, while ignoring a low probability but devastating outcome. Taleb's philosophy and Fisher's experience point to the same conclusion. Focus on consequences, not just probabilities. Even a 1% chance doesn't matter if the outcome ruins you. Wisdom isn't predicting the future. Wisdom is building resilience so you survive whatever comes. Avoid ruin, stay in the game, and the positives will follow. The stories of the confident turkey, the ruined economist, the silent graveyard of failures all teach us one profound lesson. The world is uncertain and overconfidence is a costly and dangerous luxury. True wisdom does not come from pretending we can predict the future. It comes from acknowledging the limits of our knowledge and preparing for the unexpected. It comes from humility. We can cultivate this humility. Adopt simple, practical habits that defend against the siren song of certainty. These actions build resilience and improve long-term odds. So how do we put this into practice? First, fight survivorship bias. Don't only study winners, seek out failures. Hear a success story. Ask how many similar companies failed. A can't miss investment. Ask who has lost money on this before. This is a pre-mortem. Consider ways things can go wrong. It gives you a realistic picture of risk, not the sanitized lone survivor narrative. Second, protect your downside. Structure decisions so one failure can't wipe you out. In investing, diversification, avoid excessive debt. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. In your career, keep learning new skills even when secure. In life, have an emergency fund. Taleb calls this the barbell strategy. Keep most assets extremely safe. Take small calculated risks with a tiny portion. That way you survive worst case scenarios and still benefit from positive surprises. Third, embrace intellectual humility daily. Admit when you don't know, use cautious language. Say I think instead of I know. Say it's possible instead of it's certain. This signals strength and self-awareness. It makes you open to changing your mind with new evidence. It makes others more likely to trust you. Lower the volume on your certainty to hear reality's faint warnings. These 3 steps, seeking failure, protecting downside, embracing humility, form a foundation for wiser, more resilient living.